I'm working on a lesson for a student on the growth mindset, and I've been able to discover a few things. Allow me to share. So, what is a growth mindset or abundance mentality? Now, this is a term that was coined by Stephen Covey in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, the growth or the abundance mindset is the one that realizes that there are enough resources and enough successes for everyone. In other words, I can succeed and you can succeed, and it is okay. Now, pause for a minute and think about what I've just said. Now, we usually, our default setting where our minds are concerned is usually the opposite, the scarcity mentality. That's when you think that if a person wins, I will lose, or if I win, the other person will lose. That's thinking that there are not enough resources for all of us. There are not enough resources to go around. Now, the way we've been brought up, or the way the society is, we focus so much on scarcity mentality that we do it without knowing. Now, the other day I participated in the Nairobi Marathon, and I remember I was running alone, and I remember I kept on focusing or being aware of the people who were passing me. You know, the runners who were passing me, and yet I was passing others, but my mind consciously or unconsciously was focused on the fact that there are quite a number of people who are passing me. That's how our minds are. We tend to focus on the negative as opposed to the positive. Now, I remember listening to his name is called who? Dr. Nganga. He's a motivational speaker. Dr. Karanja Nganga, I think. Or Njoroge, I'm forgetting his first name. And I remember him saying that we train our children to think about scarcity. Now, think about it. When you're talking to them about their performance, what do you usually ask them? You ask them, what did the first person get? Or which number were you? And yet we can flip that and start training our children to become the best versions of themselves, as in to work hard at being better than they were the previous time. So they are not necessarily competing others, because their strengths are different, their weaknesses are different, but competing against themselves. He gave another example where he said we keep on like comparing our children. For example, this infamous thing that we do with our kids, where you say you're refusing to eat, and yet a child in Turkana does not have food to eat. I don't know why we picked that even as growing up, and we thought that it's a relevant example, because my child being filled, or my child being okay, does not mean the other child is better off, as in the child who does not have food is better, or if my child eats, the other child will be filled up. So growth mindset vis-a-vis scarcity mentality. Focus on the growth mindset, where you're thinking like, we can all win, we can all win, we can all succeed. God has given us different strengths, and we can actually succeed and complement each other, as opposed to be focused on competing and being vicious where we are concerned. We can actually all thrive in this society.